Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, and of course, welcome to our today's show. Here we're discussing some of the top things that happen in this country. 254, and I have one of the best political analysts that we have in this country, and of course, he'll be telling his ambition for 2027. That is Louis, and he has a lot of things to share with us. You know, today we saw what is happening in this country, whereby Waititu was arrested, and Morada Kebaso still was arrested, and they were taken to police stations, whereby the Gen Z are requesting for their release with immediate effect. And I have been following what is happening in the social media, whereby the Gen Z are saying that tomorrow, very early in the morning, they are going to occupy the CBD. That is what is happening in the Twitter space. I currently have been following some of the Twitter spaces, and the Gen Z is like they are going to be back on the street. So I welcome you, Louis, for our today's. You give us your introductions, and then we can go on.
Okay, thank you very much, Bonnie, news anchor from Radio 47. As you've talked to our audience, I think my name is Louis Omondi. I'm a youth political analyst and also an activist, hailing all the way from Siaya County. I have my aspiration to contest for Siaya senatorial seat, that is come 2027. Today we have so many things that we can talk about. We can talk about arrest of Morara Kebaso. We can also talk about arrest of former Waititu, the boss himself. And we can also talk about the issue to do with the blogger who was also sodomized all the way from Mombasa, and so many activities. So depending with the type of topic that that Bonnie will ask me to discuss, I'll be ready to chip in and communicate effectively. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Lois, and he is one of the best politicians for 2027. 2027, he will be on that ballot. So I want us to start with some of the speeches that were happening yesterday before we come to today. And one of the opposition leaders, Kalonzo Musyoka, really spoke about the opposition that is pushing for this government. And of course, they are saying that if Gachagua is going to go, then Ruto also must go. So I want us to listen to what Kalonzo had to speak yesterday when they met at
in this country. That was a vision. Leo tumeamua hata kwa sababu tumeona tumeandamwa na polisi, tunapata pale mlolongo JSU hadi naandama Kalonzo na Eugene na baba yao na Fiona. Pengine Jimmy alikuwa anatafuta, unajua mnakuzoea. Kadana jamaa mmoja Jimmy akasikia fununu anakuja huku. Hey, Jimmy karibu ufanye tushindo baba. Lakini wewe mjasiri. We are standing in solidarity with Jimmy and others who feel their basic rights are aggressed upon. Basic rights are human rights. This is a katiba ambayo tunaifurahia zaidi. Kipengele cha 45 natambua kabisa haki hizo za kimsingi ambazo haziwezi zikadhulumiwa bila kuwa na matatizo katika nchi. Kwa hivyo askofu, mimi ukikubali tutarudi tena. Tumeona haja iko hapa wazi, sio? Yaani hii kanisa la Mungu linakuja. Hey, we cannot live there with clear conscience, Jimmy. Hey, ile nilikuwa nimebaki naye. I gave my offering. If you allow me, we'll also give 100,000. Leave this place better than we found. All to the glory of God. Sasa sisi wengine wanatuita wapinzani. Hey, mimi siwezi kuwa mpinzani. We are a team waiting to take over the leadership of this country. properly the alternative government in waiting. Kwa hivyo hakuna mambo ya woga. We say it as it is so that we can at least redeem this nation. Watoto jinsi wakajitokeza wakauawa kinyama, additional to wale waliuawa 2023 wakati Azimio ilifanya maandamano Kenya nzima, wakauawa 75. Sasa wameuawa wengine zaidi, wengine abducted, imeongezwa abduction, yani kushikwa kinyume na sheria, and we know them. We'll call them out. We'll call out those Subaru abduction squad. In the name of God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, you will not succeed. You will not succeed. I want to appeal to the new IG. Goza niliyokuwa pale, alileta hiyo. Kanja, don't agree. Stand there and make the difference, so that all of us will feel secure. Hakuna Mkenya ako na amani because ajua atanyakuliwa usiku wa manane na kupelekwa mahali pasipojulikana kinyume na sheria. Wanasheria wanajua sheria habeas corpus. Huwezi kushikwa kinyume na katiba kwa zaidi ya masaa 48 bila kufikishwa mbele ya mahakama. Mahakama ya Kenya, na washukuru, nadhani sasa mahakama imepata ujasiri pia. Adjudicate on the...
Yes, that is Kalonzo Musyoka, and you know he declared himself as one of the official opposition for this government. He has been pushing William Ruto and Gachagua so that they can work for the people of Kenya. And you remember even William Ruto saying that he's going to make sure that he will change the situation of this country. Lois, I want to get your opinion about this situation. Like, do you think that Kalonzo is the right person for 2027, that is presidency? And also, do you really agree that Kalonzo has that influence to make sure that from north to south, east to west of Kenya can vote for him? And do you think that he has those qualifications to be the president? And of course, he has been pushing for what is happening in this country so that we can have a change. What is your take about Kalonzo? And where do you rate Kalonzo when it comes to the politics of this country? 254.
Okay, thank you, my host today. I wish to put it clear that we all know the type of politics that Kalonzo Musyoka has been playing in the Kenyan space. Definitely, to anybody who was born yesterday, there is a political language that people has been crowning Kalonzo Musyoka to be that he is a watermelon, and from that kind of phrase, people tend to say that Kalonzo is one person who can always shift his desires and aspirations in a manner that no one can really understand. Remember, the person whom we are putting in discussion today was once a vice president in the country. And we all know that from the history, in the books of history, that somebody who has served to be a vice president is supposed to have a 90% command of the votes within the country, maybe to be a president. But we have to understand that not all vice presidents in the country manage to secure to be serving as presidents of our country. So Kalonzo currently, he has tried to depict himself as the official opposition leader. Of course, he might be right in his own way of communicating, having the fact that our respected official opposition leader, His Excellency Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, decided to join hands with government amid Gen Z protest. And it is also in the public domain. People say that it is Raila who decided to secure Ruto's presidency, because the presidency was almost falling short due to the Gen Z protest. So you are asking me to rank Kalonzo Musyoka in the space of politics. Remember, while Kalonzo was serving as a vice president, during that time we had Pentagon, and that Pentagon comprised of almost 5 people. We had Najib Balala, we had Raila was there, we also had the likes of Ochila Yako, we had the likes of Raila, and even William Samoei Ruto. So remember, those calibers we are discussing their names, we are mentioning their names today, the type of influence they enjoy from the Kenyan space. I don't think if our man Stivo, I don't think if our man Stivo can command the current population to that extent. I wish to tell you without fear that people might judge Kalonzo. People might say that is Kalonzo right to be the next. I think on my case, I might say no. I might say no because these are people who have been serving in the government for the longest period of time possible. And according to me, I really think that as Kenyans, we need new breeds, we need new bloods, we need new faces in the political arena so that we can test them to see if the new faces, young and vibrant and eloquent in a way, if they can serve Kenyans in the best way without mixing it with the blood. For example, my host, I can ask you a simple question. Look at the constituency where you come from. You will find that the person who was a mayor was elevated to a position of being an MCA, fought so hard to become a member of parliament, and is now struggling to be the governor. And you ask yourself, does it mean that the constituent where you come from, we don't have people who are educated? We don't people who have their constituency at heart that can serve the people? So if you ask me if Man Steve is the right person today, I'll basically tell you no, because we are pushing for change, and that change can only come if we bring in new breeds, new energy, new faces to represent our Kenyans. Thank you.
So that is Lois is saying that Man Steve has been there, but still he did not show Kenyans that he is qualified for the position. That is a wipe leader Kalonzo Musyoka. Raila, of course, he decided to join the government, although they have not said that he has officially joined the government. But if some of the top leaders, the likes of Opio and I, the likes of Hassan Joe, joining the government, and John Badi, then you know that Raila has officially joined the government, but in a secretive manner. So we are waiting to see if these two guys are going to come together in 2027. I have been following a conversation in some of the WhatsApp group whereby they are saying that if Raila at any point joins Ruto in 2027 and Gachagua is going to be beached, then there is no one who is going to defeat these two guys. Do you see it? Let's do see it like Ruto and Raila might come together in 2027 if at any point the honest man from the Mount Kenya region is dropped by Ruto.
Mr. Boni, the truth remains that uh, William Samoei Ruto, who is the current serving president of Kenya, and Raila Amolo Odinga enjoys a friendship to a close proximity than any other political duo within our country. Remember, these people were in the same team, the Pentagon team. Currently, they are almost regrouping together the likes of Moses Wetangula, Mudavadi, and Raila. So there's nothing like somebody saying if these people come together in 2027, already they are together. They are together. But now the big question in our political space is just one. If they maintain to be together until 2027, if anybody will beat that matrix, or maybe if anybody will come out to beat the two duos while campaigning together. We all know the type of political influence that political enigma Raila Amolo Odinga enjoys. But remember, from the recent Gen Z protests, you can easily see that there is that thirst for change, and we don't know if that thirst for change would shift that political kingdom of Raila supporters towards where Gen Z will feel that they want to channel their change to. So if in case that is the question to be handled, then maybe they might not score the goal. But we have to understand that the type of politics which we play in our country is a bit complicated. We know how system works. We know how the loopholes in our IBC also normally give unpredictable answers that they are not able to defend immediately elections are over. So we are yet to see if the loopholes in IBC must be solved, and we are yet to see if the IEBC can be reconstituted so that we can see a massive registration of voters. Then for the remaining 2 years, for the remaining 2 to 3 years, we'll be able to know if now the population that Raila commands, maybe he will not be advantaged, maybe to still enjoy the political monopoly that he has been doing. Remember, there is a talk in the public that in case Raila loses AUC bid, then Ruto might lose the game at the end of the day, because maybe Raila will again come to contest Raila the 6th, or maybe endorse somebody who is close to him. Remember, right now, the person in question, and I think this is why Kenya Kwanza government is having a feeling that even if they impeach Rgathi Gachagua today, they can replace Mount Kenya votes with the Azimio stronghold areas. Thank you.
Wow, wonderful, Lois. He is spitting fact here about 2027 general election. I want us to listen to what William Ruto has been saying. And this is one of remarks that has really haunted him as president. And he is complaining about 2027 campaigns, whereby he is saying that politicians should stop campaigning for 2027 and serve for the people of Kenya. Yet, Kenyans are still complaining about the current situation in this country. Let's listen to what the president had said earlier.
Mimi nataka nimalizie kwa kuwauliza sisi wote tuweze kutembea barabara ya umoja, tuungane, tushirikiane, tufanye kazi pamoja. Sisi hawa wananchi, mmesikia askofu walisimama mbele ya madhabahu wakatuombea, na walituombea tupate nafasi ya uongozi. Na hiyo nafasi ya uongozi Mungu ametubarikia tumepata. Nafasi ambayo iko sasa yetu kama viongozi ni kujenga taifa letu, kupanga maendeleo ya barabara, ya maji, ya shule, ya elimu, ya mahospitali, ya ajira ya vijana wetu, mambo ya housing, mambo ya markets. Hiyo mipango yote hapa Nyeri tunajenga soko mpya 11. 4 tayari, moja karibu 90%, ingine inaendelea. Hapa Nyeri mpango yetu ni first 5,000 houses. Zingine ziko hapa, zingine ziko katika mpango yetu. So hiyo mpango yote. Maneno ya 2027. Tafadhali tupunguze mambo ya 2027. Huko 2027 ni Mungu na wananchi ndio wataamua. Lakini sasa tuko na miaka mitatu. Hii miaka mitatu haitakuwa tu ya kupanga vile utashinda tena 2027. Panga kwanza vile ya kutumikia hawa wananchi. Ama namna gani jameni? Kwani mtu anachaguliwa tu, akichaguliwa siku hiyo hiyo anaanza tena kupanga vile atashinda uchaguzi hiyo ingine? Si unapanga kwanza vile ya kufanyia kazi wananchi. Pange maji, tupange stima. Nikiongea hapa, PS wangu ya stima yako hapa, Bwana Wachira. Huyu Bwana Wachira nimewambia hapa Nyeri katika awamu ya kwanza ambaye program inaendelea saa hizi, nyumba 10,000 mpya tuweke stima. Kufikia Disemba tutaongeza milioni 575 ingine, nyumba zingine 10,000 kutokea Januari tukisonga mbele. Hivyo hivyo na mipango yale mengine yote. That is what we must let us focus ourselves on delivering the commitments we made to the people of Kenya, not on how to win the next election. Na hata hiyo ukiweka mawazo yako yote 2027 na Mungu akiamua mambo ingine utadu, si utakwama hapa katikati. Tafadhali nawaomba viongozi, sisi wote ni jeshi moja, si ndio? So nawashukuru sana.
That is President William Ruto when he was speaking earlier and saying that they should work for the people of Kenya. They prayed for this leadership, and now they have it. Now they should focus on making sure that the country of Kenya is having this development. Do you agree with what the president is saying? Do you think that that is what is happening in this country?
Personally, the first question I can ask, who are the people of Kenya? That the president is really lamenting that the leaders who have been elected should serve. If he is talking about that the leaders who have been elected in this last regime to serve the people of Kenya, and these people of Kenya were masqueraded to be Mama Mboga and boda riders, not all Kenyan population can be categorized as Mama Mboga and boda riders. To make the matters worse, these leaders whom we elected, they are not serving the country. How is somebody being alleged receiving 1 million or 2 million cash to ensure that they push for a financial bill act to be passed within the parliament buildings unanimously? He is also citing issues to do with affordable housing program, yet he's making students of this country to suffer. Right now, it is not a question like free and fair education to all. Education is not going to be achievable since students are being forced to pay some money, which is huge, other than what themselves they enjoyed attending school using missionary funds, and they also enjoyed free government scholarship programs to prestigious universities offshores. Remember, it is only that our president is a smart person and very tactical when it comes to the political arena. He is much aware of what he did while he was in government by His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Remember, he received the same treatment Rgathi Gachagua is receiving right now. And being that we know that when Uhuru Kenyatta was announced to be the winner of the lastly contested elections in 2013, there was a magazine bulletin that said history is repeating itself. So if in case history is repeating itself, then our president is fully aware what he did, and is fully aware what Rgathi Gachagua can do. He started early campaigns by citing a poor relationship between him and his boss, who was then Uhuru Kenyatta. Remember, it reached a point that even he was not able to chair cabinet meetings. A responsibility was passed to the then cabinet secretary, Matiang'i, Fred Matiang'i. So it is just the fear of the magnitude effect of what can happen when somebody like Rgathi Gachagua or somebody else stages early campaigns, because he knows the aftermath of what happened. So personally, I think at some particular age and time, I say that the current leaders we have, they are people who tend to do something we know as facelifting. When you're facelifting a place or a building, you can simply do away with the imprints and do a repair and apply some good color so that it can look to be well furnished. So these people are all playing games of who understands this and who understands this one best. But ideally, I don't think if they're serving people in the right way. Thank you.
Yes, that is Lois saying that ideally doesn't think that they are serving the people of Kenya in the right way. And of course, what happened during the second term of William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta is what we are saying. But we saw the second wife, that is the second lady, that is the Deuty Gachagua, saying that they are only going to impeach his husband if only they go via prayers, because that is someone who has been prayed for, and he was prayed in front of those people who witnessed. And if at any point they are going to impeach him, then they should also go through the altar. That is what Doka said. I want us to listen to Gachagua, of course, speaking yesterday, and even today he spoke with one of the media houses in the colleges. You're going to get what he said, but let's listen to what he said. But that is a statement that really raised a lot of...
Tutavuka hiyo daraja tukifika Kenya. Na ni mambo ilijitokeza kwa sababu ya hasira ya wananchi. Hata nyinyi mnaishi hapa na wananchi mnajua ni kitu ilikuwa spontaneous. Lakini wale ambao wanataka kunipiga wananitafutia makosa kubwa ile tataka watu wanichukie. Hasa hiyo ilikuwa nalenga watu ya Rift Valley. Watu ya Rift Valley kwa sababu wananipenda raia ya kawaida. Walikuwa nauliza kwa nini Rigiji anahangaishwa na kupigwa na alitusaidia. Na ni muungwana, ni mtu mzuri. Sasa lazima kungetafutwa kitu ya kuumiza hao roho ya kwamba ati mimi na ofisi yangu tulishiriki katika maneno ya hiyo migomo. Mimi ni naibu wa rais. Ninawezaje kupinga ile serikali ambayo niko ndani yake? Number 2, wapi ushahidi? Sasa tulikuwa kabla hatujachaguliwa tulikuwa na hiyo tabia. Na hiyo ndio shida ilikuwa na akina Bwana Kinoti. Mambo ya kuwekelea watu makesi ya uongo kwa sababu ya siasa. Mimi na rais tukaahidi wa Kenya ya kwamba tukichaguliwa hatutarudia tena kutumia vitengo vya upelelezi kueneza siasa. Mimi mwenyewe nilifunguliwa mashtaka ya uongo nikiwa mbunge wa Madera, na ilikuja kuondolewa saa ile tumeingia, wakaenda kotini wenyewe wakaswea affidavit kusema hakukuwa na ushahidi, ilikuwa ni mambo ya kusindikishwa, wanifungulia mashtaka ya uongo. Kuna watu wamekuwa wakijaribu kuhujumu maofisa karibu na mimi ndio wanipake mimi matope. Kama watu ya JNC ni wa Rgathi Gachagua, mimi ni mwanasiasa ako na umaarufu sana. Hakuna mwanasiasa yeyote Kenya angetaka JNC kuwe nyuma yake. Kama wanataka kunipea JNC kuwe ni yangu, nimekubali. JNC is a big force. Ukiwa na JNC utakuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya asubuhi. Lakini ukweli ni kwamba na kila mtu anajua, hata ukiuliza wananchi, ile hasira ilikuwa na Wakenya ya finance bill. Nilisema nikiwa Mombasa, nilitoa taarifa nikasema bona hatukusikiza Wakenya vile wanasema. Lakini mimi nimefurahi sana kwa sababu mahakama yetu ya Kenya ni huru. Hao watu yangu walikuwa wanataka kushikwa Friday, waangaishwe, wateswe bila makosa yoyote ndio wapake mimi matope. Mahakama kuu ilisema bana, leteni kwanza hapa ushahidi kabla hamjashika hii watu, kabla hamndashitaki hawa. Kwa sababu rais wa Kenya alisema wenye kupanga hii maneno ni watu ya Fund Foundation. Fund Foundation inakuwaga Amerika. Ofisi ya Rgathi Gachagua iko pale Karen. Sasa mimi nauliza, watu yangu wanafanya kwa Fund Foundation. Rais ndio mwenye kusema, ndio wako na ushawishi mkubwa katika Jamhuri ya Kenya, na kile ametamuka kila mtu anaamini iko namna hiyo. Rais mwenyewe alisema, si mko na hiyo habari ya kwamba wenye kupanga hii maneno ni watu ya Fund Foundation. Sasa wafanyikazi wa ofisi yangu wanafanya Fund Foundation, na ndio mahakama kuu ikasema hapana, hapa iko dosari. Kabla hujashitaki kabla hujashika hii watu usiwashitaki, leta ushahidi hapa, mahakama kuu iangalie kama iko ushahidi ya kutosha, wapeleke kotini. Na mimi nakwambia hakuna ushahidi iko. Hao ni watu ya ofisi yangu wananisaidia. Watahusikaje kwa mambo ya maandamano? Tena maandamano katika county 35 itapangwa na watu 35 counties katika Jamhuri ya Kenya. Na niulize maidara ya upelelezi hii maneno yote ikipangwa katika 35 counties walikuwa wapi? Nafikiri ni mzuri tuheshimu Wakenya. Wakenya ni watu werevu, na tukifanya vitu zingine tuheshimu Wakenya, tusionyeshe Wakenya madharau. Wakenya ni watu werevu, hakuna kitu hawajui. Uliza hao majenzi, uliza wazazi wao, walikuwa kila mtu natoka nyumbani anapewa maji, anapewa fare. Hii ni kitu ilikuwa spontaneous ya kila mtu, na ndio rais alisema okay.
That is Gachagua speaking to one of the media houses in this country, Kenya, and he was saying how good he is, how people are trying to get some of cases so that he can be impeached. He has really denied that he is supporting the Gen Z, and he said that if at any point any leader is being supported by the Gen Z, then automatically is going to win the election if he is being supported by this movement of the Gen Z. You know, Gen Z just came the other day, and this is the time whereby they are mobilizing themselves through the social media and trying to get to push this government so that they can get the rights. Luis, I want to ask you this question. Do you really agree that Gachagua is very honest, that he is being used as a political tool so that he can be impeached, that leaders are being paid for so that they can talk and talk so that Kenyans can get to know that Gachagua is very bad leader who just joined the president, or they should just go all of them? What is your take about the current situation in this country? Like, we have hit and hit. You know, eat. You eat me, I eat you. You heard what Dismas Barada said. Other people are saying that Dismas Baraza, the likes of Kimani Chungwa, are being used as a tool so that they can fight Gachagua. What is your take about the current situation in this country, Kenya, in terms of politics? And you know, the deputy and his boss, they are having those conflicts. And do you think maybe there is no conflict because others are saying that they are in good terms? They are using this situation, this atmosphere, so that by 2026 they are going to come close again and they win the election.
Okay, thank you. I think I'll answer this question in three aspects. The first aspect is related to what we know as political sympathy. And the second aspect, I'll also answer it related to brainwash Kenyans, depending with the different activities that are currently ongoing that are staged, shifting from NHIF to SHA, and also privatization of our landmark parastatal areas, for example, airport, Kenya Power, and so many. The other one, I think I'll also speak about maybe a state of discomfort that maybe the president might be having with his deputy, now that his deputy refers himself to be a honest and a truthful man. So let me begin with first instance that I talked about, sympathy. Remember, in last regime, our current president showed the rest of the countries, indicated to us that the then president was not in good terms with him, and this made him to amass a population of support, and now everybody was singing hustler ni mtu wetu. So remember, he changed that discomfort to win the hearts of the people. He was being sidelined from key making decision organs, not sharing the cabinet meetings, being blocked in different meetings. And remember, the then cabinet secretary Fred Matiang'i was in charge of chairing cabinet meetings. You can even remember when Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was fleeing the country to outside to attend international functions. We can't know who was left to run the government during that time, but not the second in command. So this kind of dispute might as well be geared towards realizing political ambitions of Rigathi Gachagua. But remember, we know very well that constitutionally, if Rigathi Gachagua is impeached, then he will be deemed unfit to hold any public office. Remember what happened to Mike Mbuvu Sonko in Nairobi. He was impeached and then declared unfit to hold any public office until some days ago when those allegations which he had were cancelled. So second instance is what I want to talk about is like the government might be looking for a big discussion that can divert the attentions of Kenyans to put into query what is happening tomorrow. That is one. Remember, SHA is being launched tomorrow, and we also don't know if the issue of Adani taking over from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is still a question in place. Now that the Senate, I think, decided to say that the whole process should be altered until all queries in place are having met. So the last phase that I want to talk about, I want to refer to it as that we know that politicians normally push for the phrase man eat man society. So being that Rigathi Gachagua has pushed himself as a truthful man and mtu wa kusikiza ground, he maybe is taking this opportunity now to convey most messages of hope to the common mwananchi, and now feeling like he's attached to the wananchi side other than the government in place. So this might create a state of discomfort from the ruling government and the DP. Why? Maybe they are planning to do ABCD, and you find maybe Rigathi Gachagua is not is uncomfortable. And remember, there is at one particular point where Rigiji said that this is a government of shares, even though he is running away from the fact that at one particular point he said that this government was formed by shareholders. There are so many allegations that are being put in place against Rigathi Gachagua. One of them that we've seen people claiming that Rigathi Gachagua negotiated for exit package of 4,000 Kenya shillings on each and every voter, which voted in William Samoei Ruto from the mountain region. Is the same person who has been also parading himself fighting for one man, 1 shilling. Remember, this amount of money which is being alleged that Rigathi Gachagua requested is amounting to almost 8 billion in terms of figures. The question is, who gave out these figures? And number two, who can table the evidence that Rigathi Gachagua banged tables while demanding such amount of money? The other issue, there are also allegations that Rigathi Gachagua was also involved in the current Gen Z protest. Remember, there is one politician who asked the people, I think Herman Manyora asked people, who could fund a countrywide protest in almost 35 counties, sorry. Because remember, even to amass a population to come and cheer you in a political rally is normally somehow difficult, depending with the handouts you can give. So remember, all this responsibility of funding the protest was given to the Ford Foundation NGO, which is not lying within our country, whereby some names were mentioned, like people who are receiving this money, designing posters, giving out placards, and also doing activity of mobilization. At what stage did they now decide to transfer the responsibility of staging the protest from Ford Foundation to Rigathi Gachagua? So all these are political cards being played by state. But now the big question, why do they want Rigathi Gachagua out of government? That is only the question that we need to receive, either from the members of parliament or even from a state briefing that says we are pushing for Rigathi Gachagua to be impeached simply because he is in this level. He funded anti-government protest. These are the evidence too. He is championing for 1 man, 1 shillings. He banged the table demanding for 4,000 for every voter. I remember there's a time when our president asked, what type of conversation were you having with your husband, as he said that I am going and I might not come back. I'm also privileged to ask that question today. What kind of conversation were these people having that pushed Rgathi Gachagua to request for exit package? What brought that kind of fallout? Thank you.
Hey, that is the lowest giving us some of very tough questions here in our today's discussion, and of course, he's spitting facts, and he really gave us his explanation on what is happening in this country. And I think if the president will be following this conversation together with the top leaders in the government, really will be impressed by what Lois is saying, because he's giving us the exact things on what is happening. Maybe they're trying to divert the attention of Kenyans. That is Lois saying that. But again, I have listened to some of the people saying in WhatsApp group that this is the atmosphere. The same way we saw the DP going to Mombasa carrying his own luggage, and it raised a lot of debate in the social media. Kenyans were asking why this, and is the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Then at the end of the day, these guys came together. They went viral. They went to Meru and also the Rakanidi. They went to Lake Region, Western together. So I think as the same way Loisa said that the president is very bright. Maybe they're trying to change the mindset of the Kenyans. But when it comes to 2026, then towards the election, then they come together, they win the election. I also listened to what Gachagua said in one of the churches, and this is what he had to say.
Sowing generously and reaping bountifully. It was a wonderful sermon. Na tumeshukuru sana. We have been blessed and we feel stronger, and it strengthens our faith. Sisi ni watu wa Kristo na sisi ni watu ya kunyenyekea. Na sisi sana sana tuna mheshimu sana Mwenyezi Mungu, na kila wakati tunamuomba atupatie hekima, atupatie ujasiri ya kutenda mema, hasa ya kuongea ukweli. Mimi zile shida zote unaona nikipitia ni kwa sababu mimi ni mtu ya kusema ukweli. And I did not know that many people have a problem with the truth. So nakuta watu wengi sana wako na shida na mambo ya ukweli. Sasa mimi niliumbwa namna hiyo. Mungu amenifunza na kuniongoza kuwa nikisema ukweli. Na kwa hivyo katika harakati za uongozi, saa ingine tukisimama na ukweli, wengine hawapendi, lakini tutaendelea tu kusimama na ukweli kwa sababu hiyo ndio ile Mungu anataka. Hapa katika Meru tumejaribu sana mambo ya kupigana na pombe na madawa za kulevya because of our children, and there has been great success. Of late nimeona hii pombe imeanza kurudi. I want to ask our security officers to make sure that the gains we have made in the fight against illicit brews and drugs does not go to waste, because it was a big effort. Na watoto wetu hasa vijana walikuwa wamepotelea kwa pombe. Kuna kazi mingi sana tumefanya hapa Meru na kwingineko ya kahawa, majani chai na maziwa. And I really want to thank the people of Meru for being very hardworking. The Meru Dairy Cooperative Society is the best run society in Kenya. Na inatoa maziwa mingi sana na kusaidia wakulima. Wanalipa wakulima before the 5th of every month. And I really want to invite other societies to emulate watu hapa Meru. So Bishop, mimi sina maneno mengi. Mimi nimeshukuru sana kwa maombi. Please continue praying for our country. Let us pray for our president. Let us pray for the government. Let us pray for our leaders. It is my hope that sanity will prevail. We tone down on politics of division, siasa ya kumalizana, siasa ya furugu. Tufanyie watu ya Kenya kazi, kwa sababu tulichaguliwa miaka miwili peke yake na hatujafanya ile kazi ambayo wananchi wanatarajia tufanye. Tungetaka tuombe tupunguze maneno mingi, zote tushikane, tufanyie wa Kenya kazi, kwa sababu hawa Wakenya walituchagua wakiwa na matumaini makubwa sana, na hawakutuchagua tupigane, turumbane, tupanganie, tukue na maneno ambayo haifai. That is my prayer. And as we do whatever we are doing in the political space, it is my prayer that we should always respect the will of the people.
That is DP himself saying that he never knew that Kenyans, most of people in Kenya, and to be specific, leaders will be feeling bad when he's speaking the truth. He's saying that that is nature, and he was created like that, and he will always speak the truth. Is he, Louis, very simple question. Is Gachagua very honest?
To me, I might support that DP is very honest. From oral literature view, if you get the tone and the tone that our DP is communicating in, you can easily sorry for that. If you listen to the tone that our DP is using to communicate, can easily help you to predict the mood. And now that mood will always push you to having your own remarks that this guy is discontented, is discontented with the types of operations in the place he's serving. We have to know that a state government normally signs G2G deals. That's number one. Then we also have government cartels. So it is either the problem comes in when G2G deals are being signed, and maybe the shares are not proportionate. The other thing, it also might be true that some government cartels who get tenders to do one or two things, maybe scandals and corruption cases being covered, also makes our DP to be discontented. That is why I was asking you, what kind of discussion were these people discussing that led to our deputy president feeling discontented, requesting for an exit package? That is the simple question that we should get from the members of parliament and state officials who really feels that Rgathi Gachagua is unfit to be a DP. Because according to me, Bwana Boni, I feel it is an assault and it is an abuse of highest order when you want to parade someone to the public and say, this guy is not sober, this guy is not learned, this guy is agitating or pushing for division along tribalism. Remember, during political campaigns, every politician normally speaks to his voters in the language they can best understand. No one campaigns in Kiswahili or English once he descends back to his political village or area. So I think our DP might be honest. And I think he might be honest, he might be dishonest, because no one is able to defend the allegations. Then if no one is able to defend the allegation, then we will say our DP is honest. But the question remains, what is the type of discussion that they were discussing that pushed DP to request for exit package? That is the only question our politicians should tell us. Of course, you know, Bonnie, that right now, if you go to your home village and tell those people who never had chance to succeed to campus or even high school, you tell them we want us to form chama, they will always say, oh, so umetoka Nairobi unakuja kutuibia huku nyumbani. That is the type of language. So these people, they'll have discomfort with you because they understand your type of reasoning, knowledge, and wisdom level do not leverage theirs. So I think if our DP is honest and is a truthful man, then he is a weapon to any dark government plans that can ensure we don't get correct services from the government that we voted for. Thank you.
Hey, I think that question will be answered by people who are following the conversation in the comment section. So if you are following this conversation in the comment section, you can give the answer that has been posted by the one Lois Omondi. And I can see a lot of people who are following the conversation. I can see Awesome is saying that Ricky G asked Ruto his boss to resign during the Gen Z protests so that he can fix the grievance. Who in this country could ask his boss such a thing? And also is going ahead to say that that is a very good question. Also, why did Gachagua ask for money for him to resign? Also saying that secondly, why did Ruto decline to give him money? Was it because he knew Gachagua was a fault? Even those are the people in the comment section. I can post them in the screen there. This is person saying that secondly, why did Ruto decline to give him money? Was it because he knew Gachagua was a fault? He goes ahead to ask this. He's also saying this. Rigiji asked Ruto, his boss, to resign during the Gen Z protests so that he can fix the grievance. And of course, this is after the Gen Z stormed the CBD and they were saying that Ruto must go. They are rejecting the finance bill and also protesting about the high cost of living. This is the time Awesome is saying that the DP asked President, step down so that I can deal with this Gen Z. He's asking, who in this world can request his boss such a kind of things? Do you agree that Gachagua asked the boss to step down? And is this possible? And do you think that this is the main source of the discussion that we are having in this country?
Remember, brother, there are two things that categorically are very dangerous when it comes to politics. And those two dangerous tools that can create division, one of them is called misinformation, the other one is called disinformation. Now, you see, we are being told that Rgathi Gachagua texted 4 cabinet secretaries proposing that the president should step down. Who can show us that chat? We haven't seen that chat being leaked in the public up to now, when they are still alleging that Rgathi Gachagua. Actually, I think there are 4 allegations or 5. One, that Rgathi Gachagua is tribalistic, despite being second in command and being a national figure, having the name of being called deputy president. He decided to align himself towards the mountain and quoting daily, usiguze Murima. Of course, everybody would wish to protect his backyard. It is not wrong.
Yeah.
It is not wrong someone to say, don't touch my backyard. There is a video circulating right now that is depicting our current president when he was a deputy president during their fallout with the last regime president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. He said that don't kill my children. Why was he so categorically asking the president not to kill his children? That is where his interest lies in terms of life. What is wrong if Rgathi Gachagua interest lies in Murima? Secondly, Rgathi Gachagua has been championing for the fight of one man, 1 shilling. Not his words. BBI is the only tool that was advocating for this one before Rgathi Gachagua spoke about it. People are now discussing that there is a bill in parliament that is supposed to be discussed to ensure that presidential term is extended up to 7 years, also borrowed from the BBI. So if also Rgathi Gachagua borrowed 1 man, 1 shilling, what is the problem? The last part of the question: who and which cabinet secretary will come out clearly to show us their conversation with Rgathi Gachagua, asking them to propose to William Samoei Ruto to step down so that he can handle the Gen Z protest? That is malicious. I think that is why I'm crowning all this in terms of misinformation and disinformation. A misinformation can be pushed to the public and propagated to be crowned to be lies so that it can cause disinformation. Remember, our same president said that Gen Z protested against finance bill simply because they were not served equally with the entire information surrounding the finance bill. So we can also accept maybe there was a type of conversation that Rgathi Gachagua had that was in line to this, maybe asking, what is the solution now? People are protesting. What can we do? The pressure was too high. But if somebody will come out and shares that conversation, both from Rgathi Gachagua's phone and from those 4 cabinet secretaries and different timing that they were sent, we will be convinced to say, of course, all these allegations are right. Remember, Brother Boni, there was a time we had something, even though if it was rumors, we don't know, that in re-election, when Uhuru Kenyatta was being re-elected to be a president with William Ruto in the same ticket, there was a time when Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta wanted to step down, and there was a sort of conversation that our current president almost slapped slapped the then president after winning, and he wanted to step down. Remember, when we were starting this conversation, I told you that history is repeating itself. And if history is repeating itself, what is the history? We first had Jomo Kenyatta being president of this country up to 1978, 22nd August. Remember, it is only Jaramogi Oginga Odinga who decided to resign as the first deputy president or vice president. The second person who came closely was Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, who served from 1978 until 2002. Then we had Kibaki, then we had Uhuru, and right now we have Ruto. If history is repeating itself, when Jaramogi Oginga Odinga resigned, what happened? There is that power window period and longevity. Why are these people interested in longevity to serve in power other than reducing the number of years for someone to be in office? Why are they not interested to constitute and maybe say that this presidential seat should be rotational? If this time 3 years or 4 years it is in Ukambani, next 3 years let it to go to Taita, next 3 years let it to go to Samburu, let it go to Masai. We will be happy as Kenyans. Why are these people interested on longevity? Yet we know there are some crooks somewhere who are interested so that their interests are being served, depending that the person who wins. In Kenyan politics, it's like we can always foretell that who will be president after William Ruto. It is always prone to maybe foreshadow the person who is going to come next. That is what I can say up to now, brother.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Lois. And you are really spitting facts when it comes to this political discussion. And I would really wish to have you as many times as possible in this conversation, because you are really helpful for this conversation. And of course, the current situation that that is happening in this country, you can tell from just a view that maybe they are trying to get this atmosphere to challenge Kenyans, to twist the mentality of Kenyans, or something really happened. The same way there is a comment there which has said that Gachagua really requested so that he can deal with the Gen Z. The question is, again, I can pose it a question: how would he deal with the Gen Z if he could be given that opportunity by the president? How? And yet, the police were at the ground dealing with the Gen Z. How? Which methodology would he have used to deal with the Gen Z? That is the question that we are asking. We are having a lot of abduction in this country, and as we talk now, Morara Kebaso was arrested, where Titu was arrested, and this is where we saw the Azimio La Umoja coalition. You know, after Raila went, we are having Eugene Wamalwa, Kioni, and Kalonzo leading the opposition nowadays. So they went there and they stormed the DCI, and a lot of things happened there. They were really complaining about the arrest of Morara Kebaso, and of course, I've been following the social media whereby the Gen Z has said that Morala Kebaso should be released at any point, because it is high time now we give that man that space, because he has been making sure that the government approves the project that it has promised to the Kenyans. This is all what we have to listen to the
This is a
opposition
free
leaders.
country. We cannot obviously allow them to do that. Umeona maofisa. You see, I've seen their abduction squad. Umeona leo.
Wamevua barakoa.
The abduction squad. They actually came. So, this is okay. We will make sure Waititu is out of here. And is a free person. We have lawyers there with him. And we have advised that he says nothing. He says nothing, so that we can have Waititu out. Lakini kwa nyinyi mlikubali kutolewa. Afadhali sisi tunang'ang'ana.
No, you see, you have come with young men. Now they are the ones with the young people ambao wamevaa barakoa. So if it was a question of stagger, you can actually see from which side it was coming.
What is the name of the DCI? Director Amin. Obviously ndiye amepeana instructions, na yeye obviously amepatiwa instructions by either Kanja or Kindiki, and all of those instructed by William Ruto, whether he's in the country or not, because the president is always in communication. Waambieni ground ni mbaya. It cannot take it. Nothing, no reason. But what actually is amazing, they came out and you now saw for yourselves, and you have all those pictures. I thought pengine kuna mtu akona homa anajifunika. So that is now the standing operating group of abductors. We will not allow them.
It's part of the uniform.
We will not allow them. You can take that one to the bank. Even if it means all of us Kenya hii tutoke tuseme kila mtu mwenye barakoa na hakuna COVID aitoe, so that we know who they are.
Wanavaa barakoa, and the only time they remove barakoa, they lie to us. So you're either wearing a barakoa, that is William. When he is not wearing it, he is telling lies to Kenya. So have you established contact with Waititu when you...
A grey pickup came with buckets of blood and poured at my gate in Muthaiga. Now, I want to say that normally that is an act of warning. That is an act to say, we are going to spill your blood. Tutamwaga damu yako na yako na familia yako. For the last 27 days, When I leave my residence, I am followed everywhere I go. They even want me to know they are following me. They come up to where I'm sitting or when we are driving and they photograph me. For the last 27 days, there has been a car parked outside my residence that does nothing else but make sure that I cannot talk on my phone, I cannot watch TV, and I can get no signal in or out of that residence. So when the court ordered the police and the government to stay away from entering my house, they decided to do through the airwaves. I don't know what William Ruto you hope to achieve by this nonsense. The other day I was dropped at home and the car that left was stopped on Muthaiga Road, and you wouldn't believe it. The Subarus that stopped the car came out of the car and threw eggs at the windscreen. This is how childish people have become. We are not scared of you, William Samoei Ruto. Scared of you. If you think this is going to keep our mouths shut, pole sana. We are going to speak truth to you, because June 25th, 2024, you lost your legitimacy. And until you bring back this bill, this financial year, not legitimate in our eyes and even in the world. You saw vile hata wazungu wanakutema sasa. It's because you are not legitimate. I urge you today, before it's too late, seek legitimacy from Kenyans. We want a general election. Try and get back your mandate. Kenya Kwanza ilikwisha June 25th. 25th of June ilikwisha. Get back your legitimacy by having the courage to have and to call a general election. A general election. Anything short of that, you are buying what you call the script for your exit. Hata where you're defining bila we unataka kuondoka. The more oppression that will come onto you. Yes. Asanteni sana. Thank you.
Yeah. Those you have listened to Kalonzo Musyoka, that is SKM, together with the other opposition leaders, and that is Jimmy Wanjigi. After what happened, the police stormed his residence along Muthaiga, and a lot of things really happened there. And he's now complaining about William Ruto. He's saying that 2025 we might have general election. Ruto is writing his own script. Do you agree that we might have a general election? But before you handle on that, I want to read some of the comment section there, saying that Gachagua was loved by many, but Adele, when he started making press address contradicting his boss while far away in the coast, thinking the government could be overthrown or boss resigned. That is also someone saying that again. There is also a comment here: when a fool fails, prepare for consequences. Things are unfolding about the cabinet secretary. Soon we will have a full evidence. You can see that is someone saying that we will have a full list of evidence when things unfold. That is awesome. They are saying that when a fool fails to prepare for consequences, then things are unfolding. That is also a comment section there. Someone else is saying that Boni, he said that he did not support the finance bill and so many things he was not involved in. So, in this mind, he thought he would deal better with the Gen Z, but here were over 300 MPs. And also saying that listening to Wanjigi is disgusting. His wealth is questionable. He is billionaire without a genuine business. There is someone in the comment section saying that Jimmy Wanjigi's wealth is questionable. This is a politician who is saying that he will be ready for 2025. At any point, Ruto is writing his own script. Do you really agree with what Jimmy Wanjigi is saying? And of course, after what his family was traumatized by the police, this is where always he's saying that wherever he goes, he is followed, and there is always a car outside his residence so that it can make sure that Wajigi is there. He will not receive any signals. Did you agree with words from Jimmy Wajigi? And what do you think Jimmy Wajigi and Ruto are always using different directions? They are even parallel. There's no place they will meet at any point. From what Wajigi is speaking.
Okay, thank you, Bonnie. Remember, in the last phase of Gen Z protest, we saw there was a pursuit of Jimmy Wanjigi heading towards his Muthaiga residence, which was characterized by him fleeing to hide or maybe hiding in his palatial home. We witnessed a silence trying to recover Jimmy Wanjigi from his hiding place, but they didn't succeed. Remember, during press conference, Jimmy Wanjigi complained and said he was not part of the Gen Z protest. He was only going to loiter within the town and was able only to give those protesters some drink of water and decided to rush back since some people were in pursuit of him. During that press conference, he also acknowledged that these people decided to plant some dangerous weapons to be used as allegations to ensure that he is convicted. They went ahead to jam communications, braked, conducted breakings, and also so many things. But the question is very simple. Why would government decide to pursue Jimmy Wanjigi? The person in question has been crowned to be a problem to any ruling government. Why is it that in each and every ruling government, remember even Jimmy Wanjigi said himself that the likes of Moi tried, they failed. Kibaki tried, they failed. Uhuru tried, it failed. And now it is you. What is it? What it is that these people always try Jimmy Wanjigi each and every when government is formed? Why? What is the motive? What is the agenda? What is the interest? There was information circulating in the public that Jimmy Wanjigi had tenders to supply firearms to the government. I don't know who can establish the authenticity and the truth of this issue. But according to me, I am feeling that there is always a personal interest. I remember during the last general election, the first one, people are saying, oh, Uhuru atakuwa president, Jimmy Wanjigi ndiye ako na kisu. Is the one keeping the sword. And now you would ask yourself, why is this guy keeping the sword? Why is so powerful? And why somebody is now asking, what are the business deals that Jimmy Wanjigi signs to ensure that he amasses that wealth to that level? So the question is simple. What interest does Jimmy Wanjigi always have that is against the government in place, that will always push him to be in a disarray situation with the ruling government? That is the only thing that we should be asking Jimmy Wanjigi. And remember, no one will give you the question because some of these big cartels, they conduct government deals where billions of money are involved and remitted back to the government in terms of kickbacks. These are the only information that we'll never get somebody giving us the truth. The truth only lies among those big fish politicians, the likes of Raila Odinga, the likes of Kalonzo Musyoka, the likes of Uhuru Kenyatta, and any other person in that circle. You will never see those listed individuals being convicted of anything in the Republic of Kenya. No day, no date, no time.
Hey, that is Lois, and is also making sure that we get to know what is happening. Someone is asking in the comment section there. Wajigi has been arrested by 2 administrations. What? Why always him? Same way you have asked that question. He's saying that Wajigi has been arrested by 2 administrations. What is his problem, and why is always him? Why do you think it's always him? That is a comment section there, and also someone else is saying that his worth is questionable. His worth is questionable. So Wajigi is under siege because Ruto's government is following him, and of course Kenyans have been complaining about abduction. Luis, do you think that there is connection between the president and these current abductions that are ongoing, or this is just people trying to overload president with this kind of cases? Is there a direct connection? You have even heard president, that is the Kalonzo Musyoka, that is the Wiper leader, saying that Kanja is involved, and Inspector General, President, and also DCI are always involved. Do you think that president is involved in this kind of abduction that is happening in this country?
Thank you. I want to answer you in 2 instances. First instance, I'll answer you related to a case of Kianjokoma brothers who died. They were never served justice, and courts requested for command order. So order of command. So remember the same command responsibility. Sorry. Remember the 3 Kitengela people who are missing in action after Gen Z protest. They were not able to be located in any mortuary. They were not able to be located in any cell. And definitely, if they were missing, their database should be obtained in any mortuary, and their database should be obtained in any cell. So if they were not in a position to be traced, now the Republic or the Kenyan justice system were going for command responsibility. And this command responsibility would start from either area chief, Nyumba Kumi, area chief, proceeding to the normal police officers, proceeding to the OCS, proceeding to the IG, proceedings to DCI, and lastly, CS Interior, PS Interior, and CS Defense. So I would wish to answer you. Definitely, there is no any abduction which can be conducted if there is no command responsibility. That command responsibility must come from an individual. And that individual, we can't know if it is Cabinet Secretary Defense, IG himself, Deputy IG, or even any OCS. So I would say I cannot mention any person's name specifically, but there must be a command responsibility to ensure that abduction is conducted. Remember, Morara Kabaso has been in forefront to unearth stalled projects, to unearth mismanagement of different funds allocated in different areas to conduct a specific project to ensure its completion. So maybe these people who have been ashamed in the public decided to regroup and give their personal plea and outcry to someone who is a respected state official, and they decided to say, let us put a stop to this. That is now what I say command responsibility. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this wonderful submission. I get you. I get you. And of course, it has been an amazing 1 hour, 20 minutes for enlightening you about what is happening in this country. And before we come to closure, we have also seen what is happening in Mombasa. I think this is one of the major things that has been circulating in the social media. One of the bloggers there was harassed, and the ligations between his harassment is the governor of Mombasa, Abdullah Somad. And the governor spoke earlier in the evening saying that he really condemns people who are linking him to the abductions and also sexual assault of Chawa, that is the blogger who was arrested, and he was abducted and taken to a far place. And personally, I went through that video, and really, if this is what is happening in this country, Kenya, then we need to change. We need to wake up as a country, because that is very serious thing. And if it was a fight, then that person will heal with time. But sexual assault, then this is something that is going to affect him psychologically, physically, emotionally. I don't think whether that guy will ever heal. So the person who was dealing with him, if at any point the governor of Mombasa is linked to this, then I think he should just leave the office immediately. We don't have correct information about this, but that is what people are saying, that Governor of Mombasa, after this guy has been always writing articles trying to claim that the governor of Mombasa is wasting the resources of the Kenyans in Mombasa, and also he has been sending, the governor also responded that the guy has been sending him messages of 1,000 messages and he never responded. So who do you think that is responsible for this? So if you're following this conversation, you can tell us through the comment section. I have a speech here for governor speaking after Kenyans. You know, nowadays Kenyans are using the social media to communicate. They're saying that this governor must go. He must leave the office. And also others people are saying that Mombasa has been having this kind of behavior. I want us to listen to what governor had to say about him being linked to that blogger abduction.
Kwa wale ambao, kwa wale wenye kunifahamu, wenye kuifahamu familia yangu, mamangu, mama Nasima na miaka 74. Hii si mara ya kwanza sisi kutukanwa. Tumetukanwa mara nyingi. Tumetukanwa matusi kila aina. Hakuna hata siku moja nyinyi kama wana Mombasa mumeniona, mumesikia ya kwa mimi nikawa ni mwenye kujibu tusi kwa tusi. Sijawahi kuwa ni mwenye kuinua mikono wala familia yangu. Mpaka mwisho baadhi ya watu wakasema ya kuwa huyu ni mpole kupita kiasi, ya kuwa hafai kuwa ni kiongozi. Leo Mungu ametujalia tumeweza kufika hapa. Nyinyi kwa watu wote wengine mwanifahamu mimi vyema zaidi. Na pengine nitakurejea nyuma ili muweze kufahamu yale ambayo kwamba familia yangu na mimi mwenyewe nimekuwa tukipitia kabla hata mikasa yote haya kutokea. Nyumba yangu na nyumba ya mama ni ukuta mmoja peke yake ndio ambao kwamba unaweka zile nyumba kwa tofauti. Tumeingiliwa si mara moja, mara mbili. Nimepiga ripoti mimi mwenyewe binafsi. CCTV zikaweza kuchukuliwa na zikapelekwa kwa wale ambao kwamba wenye kuhusika. La kushangaza, hamna dhahabu, hamna jambo lolote la thamani lilochukuliwa isipokuwa ni simu na laptop, kompyuta moja. Gari ya familia yangu imeweza kufuatwa na watu wenye bunduki, jambo ambalo kwamba nimeweza kuliripoti, na wahusika wakafika na wakasema watafanya utafiti. Na hata ile video kumtukana na kutusi mamangu na mama watoto wangu, tulikaa chini kama familia na kwa kauli moja sote tukakubaliana ya kuwa na hili pia tutamwachia Mungu. Nasikitisha, wala si msimamo wetu sisi kwa ni watu ambao tutaingia katika mizozo ya kufanya mambo kama haya ambayo kwamba yanasemekana yamefanyika. Licha ya hayo, nimeona mamangu aliyenizaa kwanza aliandikiwa summons afike, mimi nimeandikiwa summons nifike. Anashindwa kwa wale wenye kumjua mama Nasimu pale tulipo sisi. Na hata ile video ilipotoka, kama binadamu yoyote nilisikitika, lakini hakuna bora kama mzazi akikwambia yachukulie na haya pia atapita. Tunaishi ya kuwa hatujui yote kwa sababu watu wameamua kuchukua janga kama hili, na kama kuna yoyote ana hamu kuhakikisha ya kwa Mungu atujalie ukweli wake mwishowe uweze kutokea, hamna kama mimi. Familia yangu ni wale wenye kutembea. Mamangu nyinyi nyote mumfahamu, na umri wake mpaka leo akitoka hataki hata magari, hataki askari, hataki lolote, anapanda tuktuk. Ukweli utakuja kudhihirika, na kwa wale wenye kusema ya kwa sina nia ya kuhakikisha nimeandika statement, hamna la ukweli. Niliitwa, tumeandikiwa tena kuambiwa kwa la hautakikani. Mamangu aliyenizaa, mama miaka 74, hata nashindwa. My mother, all I can say that I wish this to be on no one. And kama vile nilivyochukua kiapo, nachukua na kiapo leo, yale ambayo kwamba yajaribu kwa sababu ya siasa kuniumiza mimi, kuniumiza na familia yangu, kweli utakuja kudhihiri, kweli utakuja kudhihiri. And all of you know me. Each and every one of you in here knows me. Nyote mwanijua. Asanteni sana.
How do you know him? How do you know him? That is the question I'm just asking. If I was the journalist at the ground there, I would ask him, how do we know you? What have you done so that we can know you? Because you have just spoken about your mother. You have not addressed the issue whereby that blogger was harassed sexually, and you are just saying that my mom. How do we know him? How do we know him? I think the journalists who are at the ground there, they really slept in their job, and they could have asked him that question. How do we know him?
True.
Lois, what is your take about the situation that is happening in Mombasa, whereby that blogger was arrested? Do you think it's the right thing that should happen if you are a blogger and trying to tell the government, for example, in any county, trying to push the county government to work for the people, to make sure that public funds are used in the right way? Is it what is really happening in this country, Kenya? Because a lot of things are happening, and at the end of the day, people are getting abducted, others are being arrested, others are being arrested. Does it mean that we are headed by from the top politicians? We are headed by thugs or people who really doesn't care about the Kenyans?
Thank you. First, let me begin by saying that what happened to blogger Bruce is a negative act, and as fellow Kenyans, not bloggers, but fellow Kenyans, we are pushing for everything possible to ensure that we shun that kind of immorality, and also ask any relevant authority to ensure that blogger Bruce finds his justice served in the best way. Secondly, I wish to plead with the fellow Kenyans, fellow youths, that I just recently posted something in our local WhatsApp groups in Siaya County, and I said that the problem with our youth today is simple. You are being given 527, you are being given 2 GB data bundle every day to ensure that you are online, to ensure that you counter opponents while differing with your boss, which is very wrong. You are also being paid, hired to carry machetes, rungus to ensure that you create havoc during some meetings. At the end of the day, some of these meetings might erupt and become dangerous, and the person who pays the price is you, who is being hired. It is true. I've seen there's a blogger known as Bianca, whom I've seen, who actually posted that video where a governor is claiming that blogger Bruce decided to abuse his mother and the entire family. But despite all that, I think all that might be framed to be cybercrime. And for someone to be elected a governor, I think me personally, I've never done law. I've never been in any school of law. But I think we have a constitution which really conducts on how you can handle someone. And the fact remains, if blogger Bruce was involved in cybercrime, as a family, they ought to have decided to report this issue to any police station and ensure that the blogger is arrested and ensure that he is convicted and also attempted to be served justice or maybe to be convicted of his crime. But the moment they failed to report blogger Bruce, to follow the right channel to be served justice according to family, and such an act resurfaced whereby a clip is circulating within the country, seeing a man being sodomized by a fellow man and other people recording, I might say that is the most traumatizing situation which have ever happened in our country. It is going to be historical because some of these things we just hear them as stories while in school, or so and so is a lesbian, so and so is a homosexual, so and so was assaulted, so and so was sodomized. There are things that we just hear in stories, not seeing in camera. But for the first time in Kenyan history, we are seeing a man being sodomized in related to political issues. I tell you for free that Governor Al Nasir has to carry the burden of command responsibility that I was talking about. They will not run from the truth that despite they are trying to distance themselves from that activity, how are they going to convince Kenyans? Today, remember, can you remember that mzee who canned Raila in Msambweni? Do you remember during those days when Raila was campaigning in
Yeah.
Msambweni and they say who canned Raila? Do you want to tell me this guy had his own resolution to go and do that activity? He was pushed. So the question is simple. Who are these guys who are involved in this activity and where did they get the command? You know, I cannot act on behalf of president of the country that now today, Bwana you abuse the president of the country. Then I say me as Luya, I'm a supporter of William Samoei Ruto. Then I come to your homestead and start caning you. You will ask, it is impossible. There must be somebody who must give instructions. So that is why every Kenyan is angry and saying that governor should have left office the moment this one happened. Let him not dupe us that this is a political scene trying to tarnish his name in the public. No, I cannot support that. There is no man under the sun who can withstand his reputation being watered, who can withstand his manhood being destroyed, who can withstand his dignity being watered in that manner, being recorded, then at the end of the day say that he is alleging that people are against him in the political space. No, let him take the command responsibility, be answerable, and we are saying let blogger Bruce be served justice possible. Thank you.
Hey, I think I went through that video and I was really shocked. So the same way you have said that there are some of the people who are behind this, and if the video, even the people who are recording the video were saying that you should stop acting against the government. Utaacha kuongea mambo ya kaunti ya Mombasa, utaachana na kaunti ya Mombasa. So who are these? Who are these? So yeye alikuwa anaongelelea governor. There's no governor, another governor in Mombasa. We only have one governor. So this directly tells you that this is the source of this information. So the governor is behind all this, and people are saying that governor should go. Personally, I don't even want to talk about this, but governor should go. That is all what I can say, because what I have listened to that, I cannot even try to look at it at any other direction. I can see Awesome is saying that bloggers know that anything that you say or write has its own consequences. That is someone here saying that bloggers, anything you write has its own consequences. But they have the rights. Why are they being assaulted sexually? And that person who was dealing with him, he made sure that this person will get emotional, physical, psychological. Hey, I don't know whether that guy will heal. Also, he's saying that that is the comment section, of course, here in sorry. So, Louis, we come to the end of the show. I want to say that thank you so much for joining our today's show. This is political discussion because you told me that you are very conversant, and I can get that 99%, 100%, you always know what is happening in politics. And I want to say thank you so much for taking your time. Thank you so much for having the conversation with us. I hope that conversation was very meaningful to your end, and we are looking forward to having more conversation with you. And we are going to talk more about this conversation here so that we can help each other in any other way. But thank you so much for sharing with Kenyans. A lot of people have been following this conversation since we started. And I want to say thank you so much. What is your closing remarks as we come to the end of this show today?
Thank you, Bonnie. This is my parting shot. I first of all appreciate your effort having me today to be your speaker. And I wish to ask my fellow Kenyans one question that I always say, I'm also a politician, but I always say one thing that I always relate the behaviors of politicians like monkeys. A monkey will never change its name. It will remain to be a monkey. Whether you export a monkey from Kenya to Australia, if it meets those other monkeys, they will interact, and that monkey will be absorbed in the environment of monkeys. Whether you import a monkey from Australia to Kenya, it will remain to be a monkey. They have the same feeding mechanism. They cry the same. They have long tails. The difference is very minimal. So I want to tell you that all our politicians, they are the same. Whether born again, whether not born again, whether going to church, whether not going to church, they are all the same. The only responsibility that is now bestowed to the Kenyans is, the question is, how are you going to contribute to ensure that we bring a new breed and a new faces into our political space? Because now I always tell people that if you make a poor decision today, you are not going to suffer that decision you alone. That decision you made poorly is going to affect your entire generation. When I speak about your generation, it is you, your kids, the kids of your kids, and the siblings of your kids. First failure generation, second failure generation, including the entire ancestors. So all this drama that is currently ongoing in the Kenyan political space, let all Kenyans remain sober. Let us push our members of parliament not to be misused. Let us ask them to play their roles that we elected them to play. And when it comes to 2027 elections, we are asking all Kenyans to remain jubilant and have that kind of courage when you sing the national anthem. Before you make any decision to vote for a politician, always sing that national anthem. It will bring a certain mood to you. Otherwise, thank you, Bonnie. I thank your entire team. I wish to have you on one-to-one discussion during your presentations. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Lois. And you have made this discussion to be very awesome since you started. And personally, I cannot say thank you enough for joining this political forum today. We have discussed a lot of things, and we are looking forward to having you in this conversation every day, every day, every day, every day. You're welcomed here, and I will be sharing those links every day so that we can have that conversation as we look forward to having you in our next shows. Thank you so much for those who have been following the conversation, the likes of comment section there, awesome, Gibbs Icona. They have been making sure that the comment section there is very active since we started the show. I want to say thank you so much. I have seen Mzalendo. Mzalendo is one of the followers here, and he has been behind the scenes. I'm very sure he has followed the conversation and is feeling very good because the conversation has been very meaningful. So, Lois, thank you so much. We meet here same place, same time, and I will be inviting you into our everyday show. Thank you so much for having time for us. We meet here
Thank you.
same place, same time.